Most fitness routines are abandoned by week 2 for one of two specific reasons: the psychological friction of actually getting to the gym, or the physical frustration of hitting an early plateau. We have built an entire industry around highly engineered machines designed to isolate a single muscle. You pull a pin, push a lever, and work a very specific part of your leg or arm, while the rest of your body stays completely passive. It is a highly controlled environment, but it looks nothing like how human beings actually move through the real world. When the initial motivation fades, the friction of maintaining that complex routine usually wins out. The gym membership lapses, and the expensive home equipment is left collecting dust in a corner. But there is an alternative model, one that requires zero equipment, eliminates behavioral friction entirely, and relies strictly on the resistance of your own body weight. Long before modern gyms existed, humans practiced calisthenics. It is arguably the oldest form of structured physical training, historically relying on nothing but open space and synchronized group movement. By removing the commute, the subscription fees, and the confusing machinery, calisthenics solves the most common failure point of a workout before you even begin. The defining characteristic of a gym machine is isolation, but this creates a biological blind spot. In daily life, you never use a single muscle to lift a heavy object. Calisthenics relies on what is known as the kinetic chain. Instead of isolating parts, it forces multiple muscle groups to fire simultaneously to complete a movement. Take a basic push-up. The chest muscles do the primary pushing against gravity. Simultaneously, triceps and shoulders engage to stabilize the upper body. Further down, the core and legs lock in to keep the hips from sagging, forming one coordinated unit. Moving this entire kinetic chain through empty space requires something machines generally ignore: small stabilizer muscles. They constantly make micro-adjustments around your joints to maintain balance and full range of motion. Training your body as a single system builds functional, real-world strength that sitting strapped into a mechanical leg extension simply cannot replicate. The most common critique of bodyweight training is the ceiling. Without sliding another iron plate onto a barbell, how do you keep muscles from plateauing? The answer lies in leverage. You build progressive strength by manipulating the angle of your body to create new gravitational resistance forces against your muscles. A beginner starts with leverage in their favor. Dropping to a knee push-up shortens the lever arm, reducing the weight the upper body moves. Once adapted, shift to a standard push-up. Extending your legs moves the pivot point, drastically increasing the gravitational load your upper body must push against. When that becomes too easy, you elevate your feet forward or try one-arm variations. You aren't adding external weight, just creating a mechanical disadvantage. Stringing these scalable movements together into short, timed intervals means your cardiovascular system starts working just as hard as your muscular system. You never outgrow this style of training. Continually changing your physical relationship with gravity forces continuous adaptation and strength development for years. Understanding the physics of leverage is helpful, but the real test is applying it to build a daily habit that actually sticks. The single greatest advantage of bodyweight training is the total elimination of environmental friction. A complete beginner program requires just 20 minutes a day. There are no fixed rep counts and zero equipment requirements. Everything is built on timed intervals of continuous movement. Every rep uses only your body and the floor. That means a hotel room, a quiet corner of a park, or your living room rug all instantly become valid places to train. A traditional gym routine is highly fragile. The moment your schedule shifts or you have to travel, the routine shatters. A bodyweight routine travels with you, remaining completely unaffected by your zip code. From military physical readiness to acrobatic gymnastics, humans have relied on this exact methodology for centuries. It scales perfectly from a beginner trying their first wall push-up to the absolute peak of athletic mastery. A simple routine done with relentless consistency will always yield better results than a perfect gym program you quit after 2 weeks. Your body is the only equipment you truly need. Most people encounter calisthenics through highlights like this: a human body hovering parallel to the ground, seemingly immune to gravity. It is an impressive display of elite strength, but it creates a distorted sense of where the starting line actually is. Away from the camera, the reality is less graceful. The majority of people who attempt a bodyweight routine quietly stop within the first 14 days, usually due to a mix of plateaued progress and nagging discomfort. This happens because we are prone to a specific mental error. Because we cannot see iron plates on a bar, we assume the physical stress is lower than it actually is. The biomechanics tell a different story. For a beginner, supporting the full weight of the torso on unconditioned joints puts an immense, concentrated load on the tendons of the shoulder and elbow. Navigating that first month requires ignoring the viral highlights and building a routine around the actual physics of your own mass. Approaching your own body weight as a heavy, unforgiving resistance provides the safety margin necessary to reach the 6-month mark. Once you respect the load, the next hurdle is the schedule. Many beginners attempt to stack their new body weight exercises on top of an existing weightlifting routine within the same 24-hour window. Learning these movement patterns requires a high degree of neurological focus. Your nervous system needs undivided energy to coordinate new muscle recruitment safely and efficiently. For those starting from zero, the most effective strategy is to isolate the work. Dedicate 1 or 2 specific days a week solely to bodyweight movements. If you're already training, integrate calisthenics using an alternate day split. Weight training stays on Mondays and Thursdays. Calisthenics takes Tuesdays and Fridays. Wednesday is for active recovery, while the weekend is left open for repair. Making these structural decisions once eliminates the daily friction of trying to find a gap for a workout. The routine becomes a fixed part of the week rather than a daily choice. Within the workout itself, the first exercise is the warm-up. This is the foundation of the entire session. 3 minutes of light movement floods the target muscles with blood, which meaningfully reduces the risk of injury before you begin the higher intensity sets. Calibrate your internal sensors. You must distinguish between the healthy warmth of muscle fatigue and the sharp, localized bite of joint pain, shown here. If a movement triggers that sharp sensation in a joint, the rule is absolute. Stop the movement immediately and modify it. This involves regressing the exercise to a manageable level. That might mean dropping from a full push-up to your knees or shortening the duration of a plank. Pushing through joint pain does not build toughness. It leads to a sidelined injury. Mastering these regressed versions builds the tendon strength needed for advanced movements faster than prematurely forcing a movement your body isn't ready to support. When an exercise is timed, there is often a psychological urge to move as quickly as possible to get through the interval. This shows the cost of speed. As fatigue sets in, the lower back sags, shifting the burden to the lumbar spine. Once alignment is corrected, tension returns to the target muscles. Sloppy reps drill hazardous patterns into your nervous system. Slow the tempo of each repetition down until you can physically feel the specific muscles you are trying to target doing the work. Over a long timeline, 5 perfect repetitions consistently provide more value than 20 chaotic ones. Prioritizing strict form over volume acts as your primary defense against wear and tear, ensuring that you are building strength rather than just accumulating fatigue. If you follow the schedule and respect the form, you eventually reach the most overlooked part of the transformation, the aftermath. The human body does not actually gain strength or size while you are sweating in the middle of a workout. Strength is forged during the hours of rest. As visualized here, the microscopic tears created during the exercise are repaired, making fibers thicker and more resilient. The 2-day weekend break allows this biological process to complete. Without that recovery window, the accumulation of physical stress eventually outpaces the body's ability to repair itself. Recovery is not total inactivity. Gentle movement like walking on your off days aids the repair process by maintaining blood flow to the recovering tissues. Successfully navigating the first 2 weeks depends on managing these variables: the tempo of your reps, the integrity of your joints, and the consistency of your schedule. Longevity in this discipline is built on a foundation of respect for body weight, mastery of the absolute basics, and a commitment to the rest periods where the growth actually occurs.
Right off the bat, I want to anchor your mindset with this. Consistency beats intensity, especially in week 1. It is completely normal to feel a bit of beginner anxiety when starting a new routine. Actually, scratch that, it's practically guaranteed. But you can let that go right now. In this program, your only job in that first week is just showing up and learning the movements. You don't need to be perfectly fast, and you definitely don't need to push yourself to the brink. Showing up consistently, that is your ultimate superpower here.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. First, the 28-day program structure. Second, push, core, and conditioning. Third, lower body and glutes. Fourth, full body and mobility. And finally, progression, recovery, and results. We're going to demystify this entire program for you.
Section 1, the 28-day program structure. Let's lay down the foundational rules before we get into the specific movements. The absolute beauty of this program is found in its simplicity. It's built on a really straightforward 5-day split. You work out Monday through Friday, and you just repeat that exact same 5-day structure across all 4 weeks of the program. The list of exercises doesn't change week to week. What changes is you. So, here's your bird's eye view of the week. Monday focuses on push, core, and conditioning. Tuesday is lower body and core foundation. Wednesday shifts to full body and mobility. Thursday targets lower body and glutes, and Friday wraps it up with a full body finisher. Now, here is a massively important detail. This program uses time intervals instead of rep counts. Why? Because when you're a beginner, chasing a specific rep count almost always leads to sloppy form. By moving at a controlled pace for a set time, you prioritize perfect form over messy speed.
Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 2, push, core, and conditioning. This is your Monday routine.
On Monday, we're breaking down upper body and core mechanics with just 4 exercises. You'll kick off with 20 seconds of push-ups, jump right into 30 seconds of high knees, hit a sturdy chair or a low bench for 20 seconds of tricep dips, and then finish up with a 40-second plank hold. And remember what we just talked about? Because we're using intervals, pausing to catch your breath inside those seconds is completely fine.
Now let's talk about those push-ups on Monday, specifically comparing the full push-up to the knee push-up. If a standard full push-up is too advanced right now, drop to the floor. The knee push-up is a completely legitimate version of this exercise. It's not a lesser one. You follow the exact same form cues, straight line, elbows at 45 degrees, but you change your pivot point to your knees. That simply reduces the amount of body weight you have to press.
Closing out Monday is the plank, and perfect mechanics are absolutely crucial here. Step 1, forearms on the ground. Step 2, elbows directly under your shoulders. Step 3, body in one straight line from head to heels. Your core must be braced. Let me validate something for you right now, though. A 40-second hold will literally feel like 40 years the first time you do it. That is completely normal. Just stick with it.
Shifting gears now to Section 3, lower body and glutes. Let's look at your Thursday routine.
Thursday consists of 20 seconds of incline push-ups, 30 seconds of curtsy lunges, 20 seconds of glute bridges, and 30 seconds of jump squats. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incline push-ups. By elevating your hands on a sturdy step or a bench, you reduce the percentage of body weight you're pressing. This acts as a really great active recovery variation for your upper body while we focus on frying your legs. Thursday also features curtsy lunges. To do these, you step one leg diagonally behind and across your body, bending both knees until your front thigh is roughly parallel to the floor, and then you push back up. This specific lunge movement is just incredibly effective because it targets your glutes from a slightly different angle than a standard, straightforward lunge would. Moving right along to Section 4, full body immobility. These are your Wednesday and Friday routines. Here are some of the full body highlights you'll encounter on those days. Jumping jacks, pike push-ups, side lunges, and shoulder taps. I want to highlight the shoulder taps really quickly. You start in a push-up plank position, lift one hand to tap the opposite shoulder, and alternate. The absolute key here, it's a core stability exercise. That means it is all about minimal hip rocking, not speed. Keep those hips frozen. Wednesday also introduces the pike push-up. You start by forming an inverted V with your body, kind of like a downward dog in yoga. Then, bend your elbows and lower the top of your head toward the floor between your hands. This specific posture is brilliant because it shifts a lot more of the workload directly onto your shoulders, perfectly preparing you for more advanced upper body movements down the line. Let's talk about a classic you'll see on these days, jumping jacks. You already know these, for sure. So the crucial point is this: you must land softly, with your knees slightly bent. Avoid landing stiff-legged at all costs. A soft landing protects your knees and your lower back over repeated workout sessions. It's a small detail, but a real game changer. Let's zoom out to the macro level now. Section 5, progression, recovery, and results. Here's how to scale this routine and ensure you get actual results. Visually tracking our month-long journey here, you can see exactly how you'll progress. Week 1, your only job is learning the movements. Week 2, things feel more manageable, so you tighten up your range of motion. By weeks 3 and 4, if an interval genuinely starts to feel easy, that is your exciting cue to level up. You can progress the exercise itself or just add a second full round of the day's routine.
Now let's talk about the weekends. We need to completely reframe how you view Saturday and Sunday. And this brilliantly illustrates why. Recovery time isn't a break from the program. It is a biological necessity. Those rest days are the part of the program where your body actually adapts to the stress you've put it under and builds the new muscle to get stronger.
Look, I want to be totally honest with you about your results. This program will build real strength and mobility, but it isn't magic. Your results heavily depend on your starting point, your consistency, your sleep, and your nutrition. This fitness blueprint works alongside a reasonable diet, not instead of one. And as always, this program isn't a substitute for medical advice. Definitely check with a professional if you have an existing health condition. Well, you now have the complete guide to this beginner fitness blueprint. So I just have one question for you to think about. Which day are you starting on tomorrow? Are you committing to day 1? Take action, set your alarm, prioritize your form, and just show up. I really hope this explainer helps you build a routine you'll actually stick with. Thanks for hanging out.